Hey guys, we're back again with Big Brother. We're now on what is it, episode 17? Episode 17 of season 24. We have Daniel getting voted out last time. But before he left, he dropped a couple bombs. He told Alyssa, uh, correctly guessing all of the members of the Leftovers Alliance. He told her about it, and he also told her about the fact that Kyle didn't want to use the veto on her to get her off the block. He dropped that bomb, and he also told the house guest right in front of everybody that Michael and Monty are possibly working together, which is also true. Correct guesses all around for Daniel. Way to go, Daniel. You are a champion of losing. All right, so Daniel is gone. Joseph was entertaining possibly cultivating a relationship with the other side of the house, mainly being the five people that are still outside of the Leftovers Alliance, which would have included Daniel, but Daniel is gone, so the four people outside of the Leftovers Alliance. Is it four now? Yes, it's four. But it turns out that Terrence is not part of that group. They have excluded him from the group because, well, Terrence can't win anything, so what's the point of aligning with him? And when Daniel left, they really had no use for Terrence. So Terrence is up. So we come to the HOH competition, which is a wall hanging competition. All right, where you pretty much hang on to you stand on a platform, and then you hang on while the wall slowly tilts as time passes. So you can see them there. You see the wall is slowly tilting forward, and there's other stuff that's going to be going on. They're going to be dropping stuff on them. They're going to be shooting slime at them. So that's pretty much what the competition is. It's just an endurance competition. And that is the HOH competition. Of course, Michael can't compete in this competition because he was the former HOH. All right. Next, the first person to drop from the wall, of course, was Jasmine. Jasmine was the first to drop, and I think she was on the wall for maybe 5 minutes. I don't know. It was very short. As you can see, she's still clean, which means no slime or anything was dropped on her. She's still very clean, doesn't look very exhausted. Didn't seem like she tried. The reason being is because Jasmine is also lazy, and also she feels protected by this whole fake "my ankle is broken" thing that she gets going on, and also she started an alliance. Jasmine decided to start an alliance in order to protect her in this game. The members of her alliance is her, Jasmine, Indy, and Alyssa. Then there's also Kyle and Joseph. You may have noticed that two of those people are in the Leftovers Alliance, being Kyle and Joseph. Joseph right away tells the Leftovers Alliance about this alliance that Jasmine started, that she named the Sly Swatters. It was like a play on Fly Swatters. Yeah. So those five people was what she decided to do, not knowing there's a bigger alliance in the house, even though Alyssa is part of this alliance, and she was previously told by Daniel about the 7-person alliance. Yeah. Curious thing about Alyssa, after Daniel told her all those things, she brought it to Kyle, and of course Kyle lied because, well, if he told her the truth, Alyssa would spread it, and then it would eventually get out, and he would ruin his chances with his own alliance, and it would ruin his game. I mean, he's stupid. He's not that stupid. So he kept it a secret. So Alyssa, believing Kyle, no longer takes that whole thing that Daniel said as gospel. She thinks he was lying because he was desperate, he was on the block, whatever. All right, so Jasmine is out. And of course, who do you think would be the second person to get dropped from the wall? As you can see right here, they got slimed. All right, that's everyone except for Jasmine. That was right on the end here. And if you guess the second person to drop would be Brittany, then you'll be correct. Jasmine and Brittany are rather large ladies. So obviously, they're going to drop. But I thought it would be Brittany first because although Jasmine is quite rotund, Brittany, I believe, is heavier than her, but also taller. So it's not as obvious. They're both very out of shape, which I don't really care about. It's just their health. I would rather them not be in a competition that involves physical elements like Big Brother. They could go and walk in a park or something, whatever large women do. But I'd rather them not be in a competition because it's not fun to watch. Also, it's bad for their health, as you can see with Jasmine twisting her ankle. Because, well, she stepped on a very cushioned surface, and because the weight of her own body, she twisted her ankle. Anyways, Brittany falls second, and it was rather not surprising at all. Brittany's down. Brittany fell on the same kind of surface that Jasmine did, but without twisting her ankle. Well done, Brittany. The next one to drop, if you said was Terrence, you would be correct because he's the next big one on the cast. So what we have here is Michael, who couldn't compete, and then clean but large Jasmine, dirty but large Brittany, dirty but large Terrence. And that is your group that fell first from the wall, the Humpty Dumpty trio here of Terrence, Brittany, and Jasmine. It's rather predictable. As I was saying, Jasmine is annoying because although she's fat, she's also a stereotype. She's constantly talking about food. She's rather lazy. It's a stereotype of fat people. Brittany, not lazy. She's not constantly talking about food, but she is large. So it's possible that she could be lazy, but it's more likely that she's just a shorter lady and she eats a lot and she's not very physical. So I don't have a problem with that. The stereotypical fat person that Jasmine is rather annoying. Right, so the competition went on. I think after Terrence, I think it was Indy, and then it was Turner, and then no, it was Alyssa. Then no. After Terrence, it was Monty, then Alyssa, then Indy, and then Turner, and then Joseph, and then the last two was Kyle and Taylor. And in the end, Taylor won. She won it fair and square. No one threw the competition to her, so good on her. Congratulations, Taylor. She's the winner of this comp, and she's HOH. Taylor being rather silly and terrible at this game, decided to promise all the girls that she's not going to put them up. The girls that are outside of her alliance, which left her with the choices of putting up either Turner, Monty up for eviction. And they was like, what happens if someone outside, they said, what happens if Terrence, who she was going to put up next to either one of them, wins the veto and takes himself off? She would still have to break her promise that way. She was like, oh. Then she said, okay, then I'll just put up Turner and Monty. Sorted. And they said, what happens if someone outside the alliance wins the veto and keeps it the same? And then she was like, oh. So you see, the point I'm getting at is that Taylor is terrible at this game. She's terrible at a lot of things. She's terrible socially as well. Alyssa is one of those people that is a late bloomer. You can tell in her actions. You can see the way she does very superficial things when she first came in the house and she was trying to use her charm to sort of sway the guys, which is like a very high school mentality sort of thing. That is someone that came into their own later in life and they just started maturing socially. Whereas before that period, they were very withdrawn from other people and they haven't developed those muscles. And now that she's developing them later in life, she looks at things in a very superficial way and nuances sort of escape her. That's why she came into the house. She's showing up all of her pageant dresses and all this stuff, and she's making a mockery of herself, and she's openly flirting with the guys, trying to get in their heads, and it's rather childish. But it also doesn't earn her a lot of, it doesn't endear her to people because she comes off as fake. Which it is. It is rather fake and very an obvious attempt of getting people to like her, which is something that most people, or even not all people, do, but they do it in a more subtle way, and not such an obvious way that triggers that in other people that you're kind of putting on an act, which is why a lot of the girls didn't like her. And since they didn't like her because of that, they sort of thought the worst of her. That's why she ended up getting in conflicts where people were kind of bullying her and they thought the worst of the things that she was doing and saying because they already had a bad impression of her. So they thought the things that she was saying, the sort of misinterpretations, were actually intentional. I understand there's a lot of people that feels like Taylor is being mistreated, and yay, she's a great victim. Probably one of the best that Big Brother has ever seen. She would go down in the history book as victim. But a lot of things that's happened to her is her fault. And she's terrible at this game, and I'd rather not see her win. Because one of the biggest threats to Taylor and the Alliance in the game is, in fact, Jasmine. Remember when I said Jasmine formed that alliance? And she was also lying. She's kind of lying about the whole injury thing, and she's playing it up a lot, and she's kind of annoying a lot of the house guests. Taylor doesn't want to put up Jasmine because she doesn't want to nominate another Black woman, which is stupid. Because Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but Jasmine is half white. So nominate half of her. I don't give a shit. It's stupid. So all of this nonsense that she's doing with nominating her own allies is because she doesn't want to put up Jasmine because Jasmine is half black. Right. So in the end, she decided to put up Indy and Terrence. Terrence, who's black, but he's not a black woman. Unfortunately, Terrence, you, sir, should have identified as a black woman, but you didn't, and now you're on the block. So we're gonna see what happens next week with the veto. Good luck to everyone involved. I believe I've already heard from some people that have watched the live feeds that the winner of the veto is Kyle. So I'm assuming that people are going to push him to use it so they can put up Alyssa. So we'll see what happens. Till next time.